Okay, here we are at Kentucky's Land Between the Lakes. I'm out this weekend for a camping trip, and I want to give you all a van tour of my 1997 E150 Ford Econoline van. Just that tent next to it is my buddy's. He's out here too, and he's staying in it, but I'm staying in the van. So a little history on this particular van. I purchased it from a gentleman that had it for a few years, but one of the great things about it, it only had 63,000 original miles on it, and of course we know that can be good and bad. So I did get the Carfax on it and determined that it didn't really have anything major. It'd never been in a wreck, and one of the entries on the Carfax revealed that it had actually sat for about 13 years. Well, not sat, but only 2,000 miles was put on it in 13 years. So it's probably belonged to an older couple or family or something. So this was a vehicle that you would get in with your family back in the day and drive to Florida, you know, or a trip, whatever. So what happened, I took everything out of it, the captain's chairs, the folding bed in the back, and you know, I'm going to show you here in a second that some of the things that I did to it. Mechanically, it was fine. I did some things, or I had it done. I am no mechanic, not even close to it, and that will become painfully apparent, I'm sure, as we go through all this. And I did have the spark plugs changed out and a couple minor things, but it didn't really need anything, just to be driven, and that's what I got it for. That was my intention, was to get it to camp in. And I don't use it as a daily driver, but sometimes I do, just depending on the situation, the vehicle situation at home at the time. So I want to go through this with you all. So just kind of come around the driver's side. Also, it's painfully apparent that I'm not a videographer, so I apologize if it's shaky, the lighting is messed up. I'll get better at it, I promise. That contraption that you're looking at on the right there, it's actually my diesel heater that I've installed for now outside, and I'll go over that a little bit more in another video. I did a short on it not that long ago, and I have since done changed some things and all that. So we'll get into it here. Something I did do is those cheap racks. I put those up there. I think I ordered those on Amazon. Don't have anything really attached to it right now. In time I might. Also, there's a Max Air fan. You guys are probably all familiar with that. That was something, to me, was a game changer. In Western Kentucky, I don't know if it's like this other places. In Western Kentucky, we had a lot of humidity. So one of the things I definitely had to address is ventilation. And that was a game changer. Now, in the summertime, I've had this for about 15 months. So I did all this in about 15 months. And I want to say the stuff I've done to it, I'm probably about 90% done, but I guess, you know, are you ever really done? Probably not. There's some other little projects I want to do, but I'm not done with it. But I've been camping in it, gosh, I got it in July of last year, so I've been camping in it since the following fall. So I guess, as you can see, our little campsite, and again, this is not anything that was really planned. You can see this is very authentic. This is all our stuff out. And so you're just going to see what I'm seeing this weekend for camping. So we'll just go around here to the driver's side. Nothing spectacular. Just a little dash area. That's my big cooler. I really haven't found a good place for that yet. When I'm parked like I am, I put it in the middle because I have no middle console, so I put it there so it's out of the way, and I'll show you in a second here, so I can get to it easily. So not a whole lot. It's just the pockets here, man. Those are indispensable, and you guys know, if you travel in a van, live in a van, all that, you know how important that is. So stash those things. I did install on my own this little shore power connection there. I did another one on the back, which works well. And I just want to say, just disclaimer, that I do not live in this full time. I'm a weekender, long weekender, sometimes a little bit longer than that. Those of you all that do live in a van, either by necessity or choice, man, hats off to you. Or a trailer, or a camper, or your truck, or your car. That's not me. I'm not in that position in my life right now to do that. So I enjoy doing what I'm doing, but I do get out a lot. So we went to the driver's side, now we'll go to the passenger side. And I apologize, this is, like I said, this is pretty authentic. It's all this, sometimes I organize a little bit better than this. So you probably can't even see what that mess is. But anyway, that's the other side of the cooler right there. And I just have some extra clothes thrown in here. And my reflectics for my side windows. I have a little cooler there. And that is a water container. I think we're all weird about certain things. And sometimes more. Okay, right there, another pocket full of stuff. And I'm kind of strange about a couple of things as far as when I go camping or on the road. And one of them is water. I always want to make sure I have enough water. So that's something I'll show you here. Also, when I open up these doors, that I have an abundance of, or I can have an abundance of. So I like these barn doors. I know there's different options as far as sliding doors, barn doors, and I like the barn doors better because you can do things. That's just kind of one of my hatchets, tomahawk, my knife, and I love these little areas here because you can, that's just a USB cord for my USB lighter. You can't see in there, sorry about that. But use those for stash areas. Over here is the same way. Got some wipes there and that sort of thing. And of course, this was the coolest idea, and obviously it wasn't mine. You all have seen this before. This is just a big cutting board on those hinges. And I'll see if I can do it with one hand. Ah, there we go. I got that on Amazon. That's just the coolest idea in the world. I love that. So I use that a lot, just depending on where I am. I like it because it's so versatile. And I got a pair of shoes down there. Again, use every nook and cranny you can. All right, so before we walk in, that's just actually, that is a dish towel that I went to a festival. There's an individual there that makes these on his own loom. I just thought that one was cool. I've got another one hanging up in there too. So I kind of use that to disguise what's in here. And while I'm talking about water, that's one of my water jugs right there. I think that's like, I don't know, I think it's like 3.5 gallons. My little lid came off there. But if you can see over there, I have a 5-gallon one that is not even, I don't even fill it this time because, again, this is just a little 3-day camping trip. It's not very long at all. But I have the capacity to bring more. So I've been on camping trips before where I got thirsty, and I'm not going to do that again. So I'm weird about water. All right. Love this little faucet here. You guys have seen these. There's just a simple cord. I haven't drilled into this. I just have museum putty holding this down. Sometimes it holds, sometimes it doesn't. But it's held pretty good. So the tube just goes down into the 3-gallon deal. You guys have seen that. I can turn it on for a second. So there we go. Okay, so there you have your water. If you need something outside, have that. Or it just spins around like that. Okay. So I can get into more detail later. But I ripped everything out of here, including the flooring, the walls, the ceiling. And again, I don't do construction, y'all. I use like simple cordless power tools with this to do the build. So, you know, and I found a couple things. If you mess up on the construction level, you know, who cares really, because it's yours as long as it's safe. But if that stuff like that really bothers you, man, just get a sticker and stick over it. That's all you got to do. Just get a sticker. It covers up a lot. But who cares really? It's yours, right? So who cares? A lot of different options. What I ended up doing is when I took the floor out, actually the metal was in great shape. Because, you know, with a 1997, you never really know what you're going to be looking at. But it was in great shape. So I took out the floor, sanded it down, painted it, and I had some actually my brother had some 1-inch insulation that's used to insulate ducts with. Let me say that properly. I know my southern accent probably sounds terrible. Ducts. So put that in there. Put, I think it was a 1-inch or a 1/2 inch, I can't remember, piece of, no, it was at least 3/4 inch plywood on top of that. And again, flooring, you guys, it's like, the options are out of this world. You all know that. And I looked at a lot, but I ended up going with this gym mat stuff, I guess you call it, or playroom stuff that fits together like puzzle pieces. I did that for a couple reasons. I think it adds a little bit more insulation, but also being a low top, you know, I'm in here crawling around on my knees a lot, and I'm old and that hurts. So that has, using that kind of flooring has helped a lot. Okay. So I did the walls, the ceiling, and you can see it's not perfect. I don't care. The only thing I haven't done yet is hang up my curtains, and that's, you know, one of the things I am definitely going to do. So that's another little project that I'll eventually end up doing. But I struggle a little bit with the windows because, you know, it's a love-hate thing with these things. It was important to me to be able to have, you know, these big windows. And what I really like about them is you can see on the bottom there, I have the vents, so you can slide them back and forth. You can have just the screen. That's the actual diesel heater tube coming in. Or you can have it totally open. So, I mean, I know I could have had more space if I had decided to cover up some of these big bay windows, but I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to. I wanted to keep them open. And I know that you have to address condensation with that sort of thing, and you lose space. You know, that's something, you know, these walls are something I could have hung shelves on, or had a taller cabinet or something. But it's mine. I didn't want to do that. So I'm making it work for now. And if I don't like it, I'll change my mind. Or maybe somebody on here will say, hey, why don't you do this? Or did you think about that? And I may think, oh, yeah, that'll work good for me. So that's where we are. So I'll just go over real quick some of this furniture. Again, being able to see out the window was a big deal for me. So this cabinet right here is I'm not going to remember exactly what it's called, I don't think. It's like a shoe rack. So it was made to be able to put shoes in, like a shoe bench, I should say. And you sit on this right here, a couple drawers up here with storage, a couple drawers here, and down here you have the storage. And I have pots and pans on that side. I have, and see, that's going to change because my curtains right now are stuffed in there. So I'll open up a little bit more storage room, there we go, for that in time, okay? So I like that option because it doesn't cover up any of my window, really. It just comes up to that level. So it's working for now. It is. And I can take this cushion off, and it's a tabletop if I need that. A lot of times I'll come out here, not out here, but if I'm at home, when I'm teleworking with my laptop, and I'll do work from here. And I like it. I'm able to see out the window. Yeah, that's just my other little dish towel that was custom made that I just have hanging up there. It just kind of gives a little privacy or whatever. But and over here, I just have nicks and knacks and pens and pencils and scissors, that sort of thing. Especially useful whenever I come out here when I'm working. And I kind of get back a little bit, put this together myself. I wanted to bridge the shoe bench to my dresser. Okay, so I just put I treated it, put a piece of wood on here. But I came up with this. There's a space there, and I have one of my power banks down there, and you see a little jackery right there. It can also fit down there. And I just use this extra piece of foam here, I don't know, just to make it look a little bit nicer, or to give a little bit extra security if somebody was able to look in the window. Wouldn't want anybody to take that. So you see these cabinets here. This was another Amazon purchase. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I have another one way down here at the bottom. That's something a little different that I've all bolted together. And I need to say everything is bolted in. You can see these brackets up here. I did some testing, some driving, and nothing moves yet. So let's just hope that it doesn't. So I have supplies in these drawers, different things. You can use your imagination. Fire starter stuff up there. Cables there. Down here in the bottom, I do know that's clothes. Okay, so I do keep clothes in here. And love these crates. If you guys don't have these outdoor crates, you can go on their website and do have extra clothes in there too. These are awesome. You can go to Walmart and get you some. I've got some of those too. But the outdoor crates, good stuff. Very, very durable. Here you can just see some more storage. I do have a Yeti bucket. I think I have my hammock and stuff in here. That's just like an old ammo box right here. And I have like overflow stuff, whether it's kitchen stuff, storage stuff, that sort of thing. Of course, every nook and cranny. These little shoes right here. It's awesome. The bed, I built it. I just made a simple wooden frame. You can see it. I actually painted it with Keels, mold and mildew stuff. I have one of these mattress underlay pieces. If you can see it, that black there, that helps it breathe. Also drilled holes in the plywood bed because, of course, again, it's very important to have ventilation in these things. Haven't had any moisture problems that I can identify at this point anyway. So you can see the bed. Sorry, it looks lumpy there. I did make the bed. It's just that's my sleeping bag underneath that blanket. So here I am turning around. This is something that I thought was kind of cool. I needed like a little pantry, I guess, for lack of a better word. So I thought, what would work? What would work? What would work? And I saw this bamboo bread box. That's all it is. Again, that's an Amazon purchase. So I hope it opens. Sometimes if there's some, there we go. Oh, that fell out. Okay. So it works. But as you can see, if you cram it too full, it'll get caught up in the bag. But that'll keep basic stuff. I mean, you know, a weekend worth of stuff right there. It's a little cedar chip that I get in there to try to keep bugs out, animals out. And I haven't had any issues with that either. So bread box, and I have it bolted. If you can see, I apologize, you all. I know you're probably getting sick watching all this. Can you see right there? Yeah, my little bracket right there. So it hasn't budged either since I've been out camping. I had this on here. Have my little spice rack up here. These little wire baskets are cool. You can get those at dollar store or Amazon if you really want to spend the money, but it works good. Works good. Now this cabinet, let me get over here so we can see the cabinet a little better. That's just some kind of little, I don't know. I think the people that I got it from, I got it on Marketplace. I think the people that I got it from were using it for a little entertainment center. But as you can see, it just looks kind of rustic there. And it's a little high, a little tall, okay? But this has been the best thing in the world. I'm telling you, I had probably too much stuff in here. Of course, you saw a second ago. And I keep these little bands called there so it doesn't fly open. Of course, showed you on the back side how it had all the water storage. And I could definitely do a much better job of this, but I have extra dishes in there, cleaning supplies, of course, dish towels, paper towels, all kinds of odds and ends, and they fit in there. So I need to do a better job organizing that, but it works. It works. So that's pretty much, I hope this is coming through okay. That's pretty much the interior here. I always like to have my little, see where we are, okay. 69 degrees outside. It was warmer than I thought. 69 degrees outside, 63 inside. 38% humidity. I'll take that every day in Western Kentucky. So that's cool. So I hope this is coming through okay. Where we walked in here, I didn't show you this. Again, this was not staged, so I have stuff laying around. I have another outdoor crate. This thing is awesome. This is like, at first I kind of used it as my breakfast box, so I would take it outside in the mornings and use it to pull all my stuff, my coffee and all that from, you know, for the morning, whatever. But man, I just use it for all kinds of food storage now. It's great and it's easy to move. But it lives right here, right behind the passenger seat. And no, the passenger seat does not swivel. I think that's pretty cool. I don't really have a need for that. And I certainly don't have a need to spend so much money on getting that bracket that makes it happen. Now, if I lived in here, there would probably be a lot of things I would do different. Again, you guys that do that, man, you guys are awesome. Awesome. The ingenuity that I see is just really unbelievable. So a lot of this inspiration came from you all. And I do appreciate that. So again, my Yeti cooler sits right there. I'm not going to open that. You guys know what food looks like. I'm going to get back to the bed. Sorry I'm jumping around here so much. Thought about it a lot. And I really wanted, of course, when you're out camping, you got to get a good night's sleep. You got to be comfortable. So I got a memory foam mattress. I think it's 6 inches. And it's worked great. It's very comfortable. Of course, you can see all those layers of blankets I have on there. And I have found, talked about my sleeping bag. I have found, as far as staying warm, if I didn't have my diesel heater on, that a combination of sleeping bag and blankets work best for me. So I don't know what it is where you are or where you're, a lot of you all may travel and have different needs, but the mattress has worked out really well. So let's go around again to the back, and I'll open the back. And what do we call that? The garage? Yep. Let's walk back there if I don't fall. And you can see right here, I have this window. If you can see the screen actually open, gets a lot of good ventilation. So we'll come back here and open the back. And I know the bed, you may have noticed that, sits up kind of high. It does. It does. So again, something that was very important to me was to have storage under here. And I just have this is not how it usually lives. I've just kind of unpacked some and some is out, and I just don't have it packed very good right now because I'm kind of pulling stuff out of it. But you guys can see my Reflectix that I put on the windows at night, extra pair of boots. This tote right here has a lot of things like tools, fluids that I might need, and you can see my jack right here. So that tote has that. I have a tote behind this one, or behind this stuff on the right, that has extra camping stuff. I think there's an extra coat in there, that sort of thing. You can see a coat hanging up here. Again, back here, you want to utilize all your little nooks and crannies. That's kind of one of the covers that I use to cover up the windows back here, in addition to the Reflectix. This is a little thing I'm going to figure out how to attach that and utilize that for extra pockets. That came up one of my backpacks. So, talk about being weird about stuff. Another thing I'm weird about are lights. I'm not scared of the dark at all. I don't want to fall down in the dark, but I have all kinds of lights, and I like the I like the USB rechargeable lights. That's what this one is. You can see them hanging around up there, and these, I don't know if it's gonna show up. Man, I can't reach it, I'm too short. Okay, let's go back around. So we'll go back around here. And these puck lights, they kind of drive me crazy because they're just on by magnets, okay? Which works good for me, except when my head hits them when I get in and they fall and I get mad. But I don't know if it's showing up on camera. But again, and those are USB rechargeable, which is awesome. And this big light here in the middle is the same way. Turn it on. There we go. So, again, lighting, man, is something that I'm just weird about. I just, if I need light, I want light, okay? And that's important when you're out here, especially, we're in the middle of a land between the lakes. We're not at a organized campground. We're just parked on an old service road. Now, there is a gravel road right here, but we're in the middle of pretty much nowhere out here, okay? So, when you need light, you need light. So, there's the inside. There was the back. And I mentioned the diesel heater. I didn't even have it on last night. It got down in the 40s, which was very comfortable. So I didn't even have it on. I did turn it on for a few minutes this morning just to make sure it was going to work like I wanted it to. I've used it, but my current setup, like I said, I'm going to go and do another video on that because this is getting really long and I'm sorry about that. So anyhow, if you have a limited budget, okay? You don't have to have a lot of money to do this, okay? I've grew up out here as far as camping, hiking, backpacking, paddling on the, lakes and bays and all that. And used to tent camp. I still like tent camping, but I'm older now, so I wanted something a little different. This is basically my glorified tent. Now, I'm not trying to criticize anybody that lives in their vehicle, because it's more than a glorified tent for them. That's their home. So you guys, again, awesome. So that's about it for now. And I know you're probably going to be motion sick by me doing this and rambling and all that crazy stuff, but I wanted to get this done. I didn't really take any videos or photos really of the process of me working on the van. I just, there's enough of that. So this is what you get for now. So if there's something you want to see or have any questions, feel free to let me know, and I'll answer them until the next video. All right.